Secrets of Astrology YouTube channel welcomes all of you, and I am your estimate. Today in Reminiscence with Master CSP Shri C S Patel series, we are with Astromaster U K Jha. Astromaster, after your thought-provoking revelation on Navamsha as regards to its actual position in Dashvarga, the undue importance attached to its divination of charts and the background of its enhanced importance vis-a-vis division of nakshatra from 24 to 27, great unrest has emerged among the scholars of Vedic astrology. Some feel elated while others feel offended. Many are up to their sleeves simply because they are overpowered by the force of jealousy or ignorance. We are trying to give it the color as a personal criticism to Shri C S Patel. Young students have readily accepted the logic adduced by you. The old Vedic concept of Vargat Vargam brought forth by you is gradually becoming popular among the users because they find results. This has also become a cause of concentration for many scholars. They are clubbing name of CSP, whom you two have been very close with in all this and are trying to create confusion. So Master, it is a time that you should give clear direction to these confused lots. Astromaster.
Such things do happen whenever something new comes into the knowledge of an individual and shakes his belief system, and the reaction or the repercussion that is automatically drawn during those process or course of action need not be given any additional notice, because these are the normal things which keep on happening in the process of life. When I started telling people about Badgat Bargam or Chakrat Chakram or Dasat Dasayam or Bhaveshat Bhavam or Bhavat Bhavam, etc. In the beginning, they were not serious to take it. But slowly and slowly, they started paying attention towards it. Because how long one can afford to keep the truth suppressed? And this is bound to happening, because in a very planned manner, what happened? Actually, they took away the astrology from the grip of the original Sanskrit scholars and started criticizing them or taunting them as scholars of caps and scholars of dhoti, etc. And by doing all this, they first established themselves. I am not telling all, a few of them. But astrology, let me tell you, is a philosophy. Its every theory carries some deeper imports and meanings. Astrology is a subject that invites you to live with it, to breathe it, to chew it. If you want to enjoy the music of this science, you shall have to learn its difficult grammar. Yes, I am telling difficult grammar. Grammar of astrology is not easy. That's why I always say, I often tell even in the meetings, in the gatherings, and in the classrooms where I address to the knowledge-seeking students, that it is easy to learn astrology. It is still easier to read horoscopes. More easy is to teach astrology, but to understand the principle of astrology, I mean the rudimentary principles or basic principles, one will have to go to a perfect preceptor, a truly learned guru, and without his help, no student can develop insight of his own in easy way. And those who claim to be to have done so are mostly the products on which the scholars don't even wish to laugh at. And they have in fact become a laughable lot in the present circumstances. Look, today there are basically two types of Navamsha lovers. One class is constituted by those people who have, since the very beginning of their entry into the science of astrology, have been given the impression, an impression that cannot be removed easily or erased easily, that prediction is not possible from the natal chart unless and until the Navamsha is not taken into consideration. Because since the beginning, whenever they saw a horoscope, they saw a Navamsha chart drawn parallel to it. Because whatever I am telling or know, what I am trying to spread, that Navamsha is not really that much important as it has been made to, so it is shaking their belief system. They are feeling a bit perplexed by hearing all these things. But that is the genuine class of Navamsha lovers. And I am also telling you there is a fake class of Navamsha lovers. And they are trying to protect themselves under the umbrella of some big name. And since C S Patel Sahab has written a very good book on Navamsha, these guys who are basically the traders in astrology are trying to protect themselves under the umbrella of the name of C S Patel, and they are unable to digest the fact that there is something which has not been spoken by great C S Patel Sahab and is still in the market. They are trying to spread the things like that in their own interest only, not in the interest of astrology. Whereas the former class, who have been living with Navamsha since beginning, are quite open and they are ready to accept the new concept of Bargat Bargam. But these people who are trading in the astrology and are seeking support from the background of C S Patel Sahab are the fake lovers of astrology. Yes, I am repeating the word fake lovers of Navamsha and astrology, and whatever they are simply doing to save the interest of their own mercantile, their business. They are not the astrologers, they are basically the merchants of astrology. And I am correlating it with some other thing also. I said Bargat Bargam, people took it as a new thing, something outlandish, not coming from the grounds of Vedic wisdom. But you just think, Navamsha of Navamsha is not a clearly divisible chart. But since from some of the Nadi books, Patel Sahab brought it and gave it in book, people started dangling in Jha, and many have described it as Pratinavmans. What is the meaning of Pratinavmans? What is the use? First thing, it is not divisible. Then Navams of Dvadsams, that is 108th division. So what is this type of division itself shows that all the division that we are getting in the list of those 16 divisions or tenfold divisions are not the final, ultimate and conclusive. These things definitely give an idea that Varga Jyotish was a vast subject and Vargas have to be worked out from the Vargas, that is Vargat Vargam, the Varga of the Varga, and then we reach to certain conclusions. So suppose if we take the Navans of the Dvadsams, what will we get? Just think of, we will get something related to this. But when I say in the similar way, the Dvadsams itself is a Charachar Varg and it can be worked out as say Draskan of Chaturthams or Chaturthams of Draskam or Hoda of Sastams or Sastams of Hora, or say it can be worked out as the Hora of Draskan of Hora. Likewise, these things can be done. So when you are there readily accepting the thing because it is given in some Nadi book and it has been brought and given to you by Patel Sahab, you have accepted it, then why don't you accept this Vargat Vargam full concept? Why don't you understand the meaning and importance of Das Varga and Vaiseshik Ams? So far you are telling ki my position there, I have never tried to say or I have never told, repeatedly I am telling you, I have never said that Navamsha is a useless division. No, never, I have not made any important statement like this. I have only said that the undue importance which is being unnecessarily attached to Navamsha is a wrong practice. I don't want to go again into how that practice started, but I always tell the contemporary current scholars and the intelligent students who are coming in the field that just think Navamsha is also merely a constituent of that 10 Varga or 16 Varga or 7 Varga or 6 Varga, whatever you like you do. It is a different thing that I stress mainly upon 10 Varga only, and I have told you the reason for that. So I have never denied the importance of Navamsha. Navamsha, of course, it has been used at so many places for very important purposes. Like I can tell you ki Atma Karak is being worked out on the basis of Navamsha only. There the word Anshadhika is definitely has something in it. Then when we work out the 64th Navamsha, it has its own importance in the field of making predictions. But what I mean to say, always wherever the term Anse is written, one need not jump to the conclusion that it has been given for the purpose of Navamsha. But before coming to this point, as you have related it to with C S Patel Sahab, I would tell you that those people who are today trying to sell themselves on the name of CSP are not the honest people. I know few of them. These are not the guys who ever stood whenever CSP faced an intellectual challenge in the arena of astrology. But then there are the people who know by closeness with CSP. There are the people whom I took to C S Patel. There are the people who know what was his opinion about me and what has been my respect for him. So all these are the things that I have never given any importance. People have come and told me like this. But since you have told me that now I should speak out my mind, that's why I am telling you that these people who are trying to correlate the Navamsha concept that I have given with the prestige or as a criticism of CSP are actually the ignoramuses who have no idea of astrology. Whatever CSP has written in his book as to how to even find out the important years of life for some radical events to occur there, these things remain unchallenged. Nothing is there that I have challenged. I have only said that Navamsha is merely a constituent of Dasbarga, and wherever in the books the word Anse has been written should not be blindly taken as the reference to Navamsha. Actually, those Anse, in fact, refer to the condition that when maximum or repetition of that Ams in Dasbarga will take place. I think I will have to explain it with the help of some reference in the classical texts. So I will tell you that if you go through this book, Phal Deepika, here you will find that if the moon be in the Navamsha of, say, Mars, and is also aspected by Mars, the things that means the native's nature or the tendency will be one that of a murder. Many people take it as here the aspect has been told in the Navamsha chart. Here, this is I am telling you the poor concept of what the commentators also have taken. When such things are told, it only says that when a particular planet is aspecting a particular planet in the natal chart, and that aspected planet happens to fall in the Navamsha of the aspecting planet, then there would be a condition for which a result has been or effect has been stated. But people jump over the conclusion that the suggestion has been made to use aspect in the divisional charts. I will always advise the students, I always tell even the scholars, I request them that just thinking anything irrational in the name of the seers, just ask your conscience that do you think that those seers were less intelligent than us, and something which logically we are unable to justify, we are simply trying to push it because it has been written. Why can't our conscience bites us to tell that our interpretation is wrong? Because the things have been written in poetry, these are not in prose, and explanations were given by the masters to the students. But here Everyone has become a self-proclaimed master. Everyone comes out with a Sanskrit verse under which some translation is given of it. They don't have their own understanding to see. That's why I told you it is very difficult to understand astrology. It is easier to learn it. It is easier to read the horoscope. It is easier to teach astrology. It is very difficult to understand astrology. And nobody should take it lightly. So this I am telling, when this type of thing we are coming across, we simply jump over the conclusion that aspect has been told in the divisional charts. I am also coming to even Parasar, Brihat Parasar Hoda Shastra, where many, which is actually a book of fascination for many of the scholars. There also I am telling you, whenever we read these things, we should not take it only as the Anse does not mean always as Navamsha. For example, even if we go to Parasar, we find there is a sloka, Saptame se swanichasthe paparakshe pap sanyute Saptame klivarasyan se duibhadyo jatako bhavet. It simply means that if the Lord of the seventh be debilitate and be in the Navamsha, here Anse has been taken as Navamsha, and I am opposing to this point only I am telling you. So please listen carefully, that if it goes into the Ams of the Inak or important planet, the native will have two wives. This is the sloka 19th of chapter 12th, Jaya Bhav Phaladhyay of Brihat Parasar Hoda Shastra, commented upon by Pandit Padmanabh Sharma, published from Chokhamba Subharti Prakasha. This is in my hand, and I am trying to impress upon the fresh students, rather the contemporary scholars also, that here when we see the Klib Rasi Anse, when we read this term, what does it mean? Not only in Navamsha, in the Dasvarga, if the seventh house repeatedly falls in the Ras, which is identical with the sign of an important planet, an Inak planet, this type of eventuality may come. Not only that, in the Navamsha, if you have seen the sign of an Inak planet has come, you jump over to the conclusion. Just think how only one division can rule the thing. When the divisions are so much that, as I told you, quoting CSP itself, that when we go for Navamsha of Dwadsamsa, we are talking of 108th division. It can even be Dwadsamsa of Navamsha if it is divisible. Let's see. But then there can be many other divisions. It can be Draskan of Draskam of Chaturthams of Ghoda. Like that. Many things can happen. So what I think is the word Anse has been unnecessarily always taken as the Navmanshu only. I am giving another example. Bhaumansak gate sukre bhauma chhatra gatethava bhaum yukte cha drishteva bhagchumban bhag bhavet. Here it has been taken is the planet Venus. If it has gone into the sign and Navamsha of Mars, such and such type of effect will happen. This is sloka number 13, rather 12 and 13. One line is in 12 and other line is in 13. From the same chapter of the same book. Now what I mean to say that it will happen that if you first see into the Dasvarga, then see the position of Venus in Dasvarga, and if it repeatedly falls in the sign of Mars, that is in Aries or Scorpio, then the possibility of such types of effects as stated here in this aphorism can be thought of. One should not go blindly for anything. Many things are there, I can tell you. From the same book, I am quoting the sloka number 31st of the same chapter. Daransak gate lagnanathe daresware vyaye triyo binse cha khadbinso vivahang lavate nara. Oh no, what is told in this? This is a very simple thing. This means when the Lord of Lagna is in the Navamsha of the Lord of 7th house and the Lord of 7th be posited in the house of, in the 12th house, the said type of effect will come to pass. Now here it is not of one chart of Navamsha. We will have to see it in different charts of Dasvarga. And when this situation comes to pass repeatedly in different chart, only then we can expect such things. And especially whenever we can think the nature of the man or a effect which is directly related with the other persons cannot happen simply because we have seen it in natal chart and in Navamsha chart. Of course, I told you in North India earlier, the moon chart was given importance along with the natal chart. In South India, natal chart along with the Navamsha chart were being used. So, if some events were happening and it was being easily visible in the Navamsha chart, they started doing all teachers formulated so many combinations like that. And if we go into that, we will find that on number of chart it fails. But if we want to infuse accuracy into it, use this it in Dasvarga. And if the repetition has taken for more than 4 or 5 times, rest assured that probability of that type of manifestation of effect increases up to the range of 85 to 95%. This is my personal experience, and that's why I have always been stressing upon you first prepare a Dasvarga. And now Dasvarga is a concept, that's why I have told it is a Varga engineering. So one should be able to know for a particular thing how that Dasvarga is to be erected, which are the charts that has to be taken, how that chart is to be taken. Because I told you the Navamsha of Dwadasams and Dwadasams of Navamsha will be 2 different charts and will give 2 different type of effects for 2 different purposes. And they can be from the Char and Achar Varga, they can be erected severally for several purposes. And first level course I have already delivered it into Ahmedabad. For second and third level course, although I am being called, but I am not getting time to go there. And for this I am feeling sorry with my friends. And to certain people who are really desirous, they are in constant touch with me on WhatsApp and other things and on phone, and I have been explaining to them on second level also. And of course third level is a bit difficult. What I mean to see that the question that you state, that CSP has nowhere been hit by the concept of Vargat Vargam or by revelation of the facts about Navamsha. He has simply culled out the informations from different texts and put it. Now it is for the wisdom of the students to read them carefully and understand them. Never care for those people who are trying to do business in the name of C S Patel. C S Patel was not a businessman in astrology, and I have been with him. People, as you told, they have started appreciating the concept of Vargat Vargam. Slowly and slowly it will spread, because once you will find that something is really working, something is intelligent, Because from the sheer intelligence, you will find that these things have come from Rishi Parampara. Under no circumstances one can have the insight and supersensual perception possessed by those seers unless until one does not himself apply to those type of living. And astrology as a subject was developed only during the course of exploration of the real concept of the Godhead. So these things can be, say, of any material only for the time being, for few seconds, for few hours, but ultimately they all will be washed away with the time. Ultimately only the truth will prevail. Ultimately only the wisdom of the seers will prevail. A time will come when people will start reading the books in right direction with correct perspectives, and that time they will understand and realize the importance of Sanskrit scholars, whom today they have purposely squeezed to the frame or pushed them to the boundary. But when the sincere students will come, they will not depend on the commentary. When they will themselves started reading those verses for development of their own insight, that time they will definitely seek the help of Sanskrit scholars. History has a habit of repeating itself, and it will repeat itself. So don't you, I think I have been able to clarify the things and also to remove the concern that you have started nourishing because of the manipulations done by people in the field of astrology in the name of CSP. Because see, scholars and traders cannot go together. Very rarely a scholar becomes a trader, because those who trade cannot be a scholar, and those who have the thirst for knowledge cannot afford to trade in the field of learning. And so always remain assured that those who are trading here are not the scholars, and those who are the scholars are somehow being managed for few sittings by these traders, but they will not stick to those people for a longer time. That's all.